Hello everybody, welcome back to Throttle Grotto. Today, just a quick short video between night shifts to kind of show you guys where the progress is on the 928 Maserati project. I want to make this quick because I have to get to bed before I go to work. I got in a Maserati F136 flywheel. So you might remember this guy. This is the old automatic flex plate setup. And here is the flywheel from the it's an F1 flywheel. It's not an actual Coupe GT flywheel, but you can see one of the most important parts is this pickup ring for the engine management. And that is spot on, which is good. This distance is a little bit different. I'm hoping that the starter engages far enough to grab the ring gear here. So one of the downsides of this is, or I guess the bad news, is I was hoping that this was a larger item than it was, and it's not. Unfortunately, this measures out at, I'm doing this upside down because I'm using my opposite hand, but it's 215 mil or like 8.5 inch. So I can't use an RX-8 clutch disc unless I go twin disc, because they only make twin disc in 215 for RX-8s, and I can't spend $1,400 on a clutch. Ugh. And this just for reference is the 928, like the original twin disc 928 flywheel. It's actually even larger than the Maserati parts. And I'm sure some of you will say, well, dude, why can't you just use a 928 clutch disc on here? Aha, because a 928 clutch disc, the twin disc setup is 210 mil or 205. Basically too small. Not going to have, as you can see, the interior here is about 140 and here 125. So that won't work. So what I've had to do is I've had to order more parts from the old bays of E. Since the bell housing here will work, but not readily, I've ordered a Maserati setup with a clutch disc, pressure plate, throw-out bearing, hydraulic lines, and the backside of the bell housing, which hopefully will not be terrible to match up to this. So if you look down in there, there's the other end of this, 23 spline 1 inch, 23 spline 1 inch. I believe the Maserati is 21 spline and the same diameter. So it may be able to modify this with some sort of sleeve that slides over the Maserati output shaft from the bell housing to adapt this piece to make that happy. I don't know. I won't know until I actually have it here, and I'm going to have to make an adapter to go between this torque tube and the Maserati bell housing. If I can't make this work, I'm going to have to suck it up and sell all this Porsche junk that I've got and just buy Maserati parts and modify Maserati parts to fit in the car. I don't really want to do that because I don't want to get into fabbing engine or transmission mounts and adapting axles and all that garbage to make that work, or to make the Maserati work where that should work. Plus, I'll also have to build a completely different shifter mechanism, because you just cannot buy a shifter assembly for a Maserati Coupe GT. They exist, but they're like, yeah. I'd spend $2,500 just in parts to make the shifter work. So I'm trying not to go that route. So I did figure out that the throwout bearing is I'll just put the little thing in there. It's like a 62022RS or 2RS or something. So I was able to get a bearing fairly easily. Hopefully that's the right diameter for the throwout bearing. And maybe we'll have a working clutch setup here in the next week. So it's not a big update. It's basically I've got some parts and I had to order more. But I just wanted to keep you guys in the loop as to how the project's going. Honestly, it's a little frustrating. I've probably reached out to about 10 companies and individuals that are either have done or are doing this swap. And the information sharing is just not there. It's zero. So it's disappointing, and it means that this project goes a little bit slower while I figure all this out on my own between working and house projects and a bunch of other stuff. So I wish I had more to update you with, but unfortunately right now I don't. That's all I've got. I'm starting to stare off into space like a zombie, which means I need to go take a nap before I have to go back to work. So keep moving forward and hope for some better results once the parts show up next week for the bell housing. So until next time, get out there and work on something.